live. Welcome everybody. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me just make sure my settings are working. Perfect. All right. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday. Today we're going to be covering the Caleb Harris case. We've been covering that since he went missing. Very strange case. It's been missing now for almost 4 months. Although there was a body found very close by to where he went missing. That body has not been identified yet. Although many speculate it could be Caleb Harris's remains, but obviously we still don't know until the report comes out, which could take up to today would be a week since they found the remains, so another 5 weeks. So we do have to keep that in mind. Before we get started, we always like to get back by featuring missing people. Today we have Andrea Nabel. She went missing back in August 13th of 2019. Just 41 years old, brown blonde hair, hazel eyes, 190 pounds, 5'7". If you have any information about her whereabouts, she went missing out of Louisville, Kentucky. You can call 502-574-7120. And then just one more thing before we get into Caleb Harris, and that is Aidan Clune, who we've been recently going out and searching for. We've been, not just me, but many others have been looking for Aidan Clune. He went missing 2 years ago, back in April of 2022. Recently, we've been going out there and doing drone searches, ground foot searches, and we were finally able to find the first physical evidence in the first since 2 years since he went missing, and that was his pair of shoes, which was a huge find. And we are going to be going back out there soon. So do have like a GoFundMe anyway, donations, PayPal, Venmo, anything that if anybody can donate, we'll go towards that search. But we plan on going sometime this week. We're just kind of seeing how the weather is because it's going to be really hot. But yeah, so we're going to be going out very soon, and we'll keep you guys updated with that. Moving on to Caleb Harris. For those that were here yesterday's show, I will be going over some of the same information, but I've updated it. I found some new stuff, but I made a whole new diagram and everything, and I examined that website, which is the Wastewater sewage system. It's learned a little bit more about how to work the website and learned a lot more information. So, but before we dive into all that, let me just quickly play a recap of Caleb's story just for anybody that's not familiar. It's just a 3-minute video just kind of recapping his timeline for anybody that's not familiar with Caleb Harris's case. So I'm going to play that real quick and then we'll get back into it. Caleb Harris, a 21-year-old college student out of Corpis Christi, Texas, went missing on the early hours of March 4th, sometime just before 3 a.m. He just vanished. He was last seen with his roommates caught on this ring cam walking their new dog. This was taken at approximately 1 a.m. in the morning. Shortly later, Caleb Harris would order Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. along with Snapchatting with his sister. Then after that, he sent his final Snapchat picture, which was received by his friend at 3:03 a.m., which shows a foggy picture of a bridge which was taken just outside his apartment complex located here. The next day, the roommate awoke to find that Caleb Harris was missing and that his Uber Eats order was still sitting outside. So what actually happened to Caleb Harris? And more importantly, what is this new lead that law enforcement allegedly has? First, we need to go back to the timeline and take a closer look as they learned Caleb Harris's phone went dark at 2:58 a.m. This time is crucial as this means this photo that Caleb took had to have been taken just before 2:58 a.m., meaning sometime between ordering Uber Eats at 2:45 a.m. and 2:58 a.m. when his phone went dark, something terrible happened to Caleb Harris. Jennifer Coffindaffer, who is a former FBI agent, has been covering this case and has been speaking with the family and doing many interviews. Although it's been nearly 3 months since Caleb's disappearance and no major developments in the case, it has not gone cold. According to Coffindaffer, in her latest interview, it seems law enforcement has a lead, and if by chance that lead doesn't pan out, they will release some kind of details to the public.
Is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community.
So what could this lead be that law enforcement allegedly has? Many feel like Caleb Harris was abducted by someone, likely with a vehicle. Luckily, there are plenty of street surveillance cameras around in that area, but unfortunately, it was really foggy that night. So it's possible they have surveillance footage of a suspicious vehicle or person, but perhaps it's too difficult to see due to the fog. There's also mention of a Reddit account which was used as like a hookup app. It's rumored an account used by Caleb was using this Reddit app to meet up with somebody that night, but this account has not been verified by the family. Considering Caleb had no wallet, keys, nor shoes, it seems odd that he would leave to meet up with somebody, but it's certainly possible. There's also a hint that this could have been an abduction, as Coffindaffer. Okay, so we'll pause it there. So that's just a little recap of his story. Missing now, almost come the 4th will be 4 months. Pretty wild, but there has been obviously some new developments. I'm sure many, it seems like some locals from Texas, I'm sure you guys are familiar. But then with the this body being found literally yards more or less away from where he went missing. I think even though the body hasn't been identified, I think there's a good possibility this could be Caleb Harris's remains. But again, we don't know, and that's still going to take some time. But we have been doing some investigating behind the scenes. And again, if you were here from yesterday's show, I do have some more to show, more that I figured out with the sewage system and all that, because obviously this body that, again, we don't know if it's Caleb or not, was found nearby. And, the big question is, how did it end up there? So we may have figured out some possibilities as to how that happened, and we'll show you guys that here in just a minute. But let me get caught up in chat for a second. Let me just turn this down and I'll get to chat. Tom, good to see you, buddy. He's local to Texas out there. This is one of the few cases where I'm totally unsure, more unsure of this one than Riley Strain case. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. Thanks for your hard work, Chris. Keep up the good fight. Thank you so much, Tom. Huge supporter of this show. Means the world, buddy. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Connie with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much for the support, Connie. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Maddie's mom says, hi, Chris. Thank you for all. Thank you for doing shows on the missing. Of course, anything I can do to give back. Again, I think I failed to mention earlier, if you have a friend or a family member that went missing recently, or been missing for years, and they don't have the exposure. I'd be more than happy to feature them in an upcoming live show. You can just email me, the details, and I'd be more than happy to feature them in an upcoming live show. Lisa RN with the $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Lisa. That means the world. As most of you know, that will go towards helping the cause of searching for the missing. And I really, truly appreciate your guys' amazing support. So let's get on to the latest news. And then what we kind of uncovered recently. So for anybody that has missed it, a week ago they did find human remains. So here is just a quick little news report on that.
Tonight, human remains have been found not far from where a New Braunfels man went missing in Corpis Christi. Now, Corpus Christi police confirming tonight that the remains were found in a water lift station. The collection point is 40 feet deep and had to be drained to recover the remains. Now, to be clear, there's been no confirmation that the remains belong to 21-year-old Caleb Harris, who you see here, who mysteriously disappeared from his apartment in March. We'll, of course, continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as we learn them here on air and online at KENS5.
Confirms the discovery of human remains inside a wastewater lift station near Ennis Jocelyn at Lexington and Holly Road.
Yeah, several agencies, along with CCPD and CCFD, have been on scene since 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's also where we find Josh Maxwell. He's live on.
What I can start off our newscast and tell you is that there is no evidence at this time that these human remains are in any way connected to the disappearance of missing TAMUCC student Caleb Harris. However, the location...
So keep in mind, there hasn't been anyone reported missing around in this area as far as we know. Not to say that there isn't somebody. But I feel like the more this goes on, I feel like the more it's going to lean towards this could be Caleb. But again, still at the end of the day, until they verify it, we have to be kind of, careful.
Also learning, DNA was sent to the University of North Texas to be tested. Police say they have searched this area many times after Caleb's disappearance, but recent rains may have uncovered the remains.
So, anybody that's not familiar, here's a picture, and I built a new diagram and everything. So again, if you were here yesterday, I've got a lot more information. I was able to kind of figure out the website as well. But just kind of in a nutshell, this is where he was last seen, where he took his little last Snapchat picture. It was received at 3:03 a.m., but it must have been sent before 2:58 because that's when the phone went dark. And then the remains that were found were right here, and that is literally, I think somebody said it was like 20 some odd yards from where he was last seen. So very close to where he went missing. So I think it's a very high probability that the remains could be Caleb's. So here is just a look at the Lexington Road. That's the road that is just west 1 block from where he went missing. The apartments that you see in the background, those are Corpus Christi. And across the street from the Corpus Christi, beyond this little field is a lift well station with a lift station. It's for the sewage water, wastewater, and the body was found in that well there. And that little station is just a little closed off, fenced off area, not very big. And we have a video kind of explaining what I think this video just kind of repeated here.
I discovered this well. So there's the cost.
So yeah, those remains were found very close. So then I found this video. This video's been on one of the Facebook groups that I overlooked in the beginning, but I think this video could be very important. and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you haven't seen it, this, from what I understand, was uploaded on April 17th. So this would have been just over a month after Caleb had disappeared.
I discovered this well. No manhole. Easily fell in there. And then this one hasn't even gotten uncovered.
I'm going to turn that down a little.
They didn't look in here. You know? And they didn't look missing either, because I just uncovered it. Yeah, but how would someone know? Nobody brought him here. I'm just saying, like, maybe he could be stuck in the sewer. Maybe he fell in that one, and he shimmied his way through the tunnel or something down to this one.
I don't think so, Brick. We were talking about that. So there's storm drains and sewer systems, and they do not connect to each other. They're separate for reasons, because they're just two separate entities. And I know that there is that stormwater drain that actually goes right next to it. As a matter of fact, usually the sewer system and the stormwater system, they usually kind of parallel each other in certain areas. From I understand, now keep in mind, I'm not an engineer. I don't work for Waste Management or, but as far as I know, I don't think that connects into that location. But we'll explain more here in just a bit.
Maybe he hit his head falling down, and he's stuck in there. Right, maybe he fell. That's why he couldn't cry for help. I mean, they obviously did not search this area because I just uncovered them. And it's right by the cottages.
So this lady claims that when she went out there a month and a half, that when she was just looking for Caleb, discovered 3 manholes here, and one of them was uncovered. And I noticed somebody in chat mentioned that there was an orange cone, which, it could have been a warning.
Very well could be.
But the question would be, I think you can actually see, is that the orange cone? Is that one of them right there?
Walking distance.
Yeah, I think. Can't tell if that's just a crop bent over, but there is an orange cone.
So maybe he saw the anomaly that I saw on Google Maps, because I saw this place on Google Maps and I wondered what it was. So that's why I decided to come out here and check it out. And then I discovered these 3 manholes.
And just looking at that, I mean, if searchers, because people said that they searched very thoroughly in this area because this is right where he went missing. Is it possible these were covered how they look right now, and so they might have missed that manhole? Maybe the manhole was not open at that time, which would then obviously lead to another theory, but...
The ground is relatively soft. I don't see no stickers. I know I wouldn't come over here without no shoes, but there's a lot of flintstones here in Corpis Christi.
But we're going to talk about where the sewage system blueprints are,
They don't wear shoes either.
which way they go, and all that. I was able to discover all that last night and this morning. So just to give you an idea of where everything's situated, so the manholes that they're talking about is in this field here, where I've got the arrow.
I just uncovered it. Yeah, but how would someone easily fell in there?
That is located right across here, and as you can see, this is a sewer manhole right here. Notice how it's perfectly lined up with the manholes that are where she's at.
And then this one hasn't even gotten uncovered. See, they didn't look in here.
And I don't think it's no coincidence that if you take a straight line from that, it actually leads right to that water, that waste station or lift station.
Before these remains are identified. So we cannot say whether they are or are not Caleb Harris. What we do want to point out, this is where the remains were pulled from City workers pulled the remains from this facility yesterday around 3 o'clock. Across this field, you can see an apartment complex. That's where we've...
So as a matter of fact, where she's looking in that field is where, obviously from the viewpoint, because it's low, we can't see. But if we were to just kind of do this, you know, oh, I'm not on Google Earth, so I guess I can't do what. But, you know, she's standing here and she's looking this way. Now, obviously the crops are, you know, it doesn't look exactly like this. But she's literally looking this direction, which is where these manholes would be.
Joined you from before.
And that's the
Caleb
apartments.
Harris's apartment complex. That's where he lived in the last school year as he attended Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and it was from right outside of there that he disappeared on March 4th. We have brought you this story through the last couple months. We've talked with police here in Corpus Christi, and we've talked many times with Caleb Harris's family, and all they want is their loved one back. I spoke with Randy Harris, Caleb's father, earlier. He says they are hoping and praying it was not Caleb that was pulled from here.
So just to show you guys where everything's located at, this is where she's standing here. That's the lift station where the remains were found. That's the well, or excuse me, that's the sewer that the lady had uncovered. She said there was 3 manholes. One of them was off. I don't know if the lid was nearby or if it's just completely gone. Be interesting to know if that was nearby or not. But the fact that it's open is, you know, not good. And let me move this over. And then where Caleb went missing is right there. So you got everything just right there. So to kind of put it all together, and then we're going to, of course, put some more together here with the sewer system and the storm drain system and talk about that further. But again, you got everything right here. I would lean towards there's a good possibility that this could be Caleb. And again, prayers for his family at a time like this where, you know, there's remains found, but they don't know if it's their son or not. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. That's got to be absolutely terrible. So here's the website. Anybody can go to this website, and I'll put a link to it at the end of the show if you guys want to do your own investigation. But this shows the sewer lines. This is the wastewater main lines. Now, we kind of showed this during the show last time, but one of the big questions was I couldn't figure out like how to tell, you know, which direction these are flowing. But now that I had more time to play around with it, it gives you so much detail. It's pretty amazing with how detailed this is. So here's me doing an overlay of Google Map and this just to kind of show you the sewer lines. So let me get rid of this comment. Oh, Fuzi, I'm sorry, I meant to read that. Fuzi says, oh, well, how persistent of this person, persistent? I'm glad you were combing other media sources for us, Chris. Personally, I avoid most of them. Love you, Mob Crew. Thank you so much. I appreciate the membership for 26 months. That's so awesome. Optic says April 17th. That's over a month and a half. March 4th. Yeah, about a month and a half. Yeah. Right. No, I mean you make a great point. I'd be curious to know what, you know, those original searchers, did they notice anything with the manhole missing or not, or was it like how she kind of discovered it, where, you know, a lot of the crops were kind of like covering it? Maybe they just missed that part. So as you can see, I am kind of doing an overlay of the main line and the Google Maps. And as you can see, the line lines up perfect with the where the manholes were found and where the lift station is at. And you can see how these line up with the, oh, let me get rid of this. There we go. How it lines up with the apartment complex and everything, and with the road on where because there is a sewer manhole cover right here. So everything kind of, everything lines up. So that gives us an idea of where those sewer lines are at. Now the big question is, which direction do they go? You know, which way is downstream, upstream? That's something I couldn't figure out during our last stream, because I just figured this, discovered this yesterday before I went live. But again, here is the two locations. So the manhole that she had discovered is right there. The well lift station where the remains were found were here. And then Caleb went missing here. But as you can see, from what I understand, again, I am not, part of the city, work for the city. Not an expert in this, but from the blueprints, they do line up perfectly to where the remains went.
Video will explain the purpose and operation of.
So here is just a short video, and then I'll show you what I've discovered. So with which way the water goes and everything.
Wastewater pumping stations or lift stations. To illustrate how this system works, this video will follow wastewater from its source through the local sanitary sewer system into a regional wastewater lift station. Wastewater begins in homes and buildings when dirty water is sent to the local sanitary sewer system through a drain or toilet. It travels through the underground pipes, usually under the street, until it connects with the large pipes of the regional collection system. The wastewater flows downhill until it reaches a low point in the system where it can no longer flow by gravity. Lift stations are installed at these low points so that the flow can be pumped or lifted to higher ground, so it can again flow downhill through the wastewater collection system. When the
so Allison, we've seen people. There are cases people have fallen in and been sucked into sewer lines. We actually have a video we're gonna play here, so it is possible. But yeah, you would think they would be very tight, but there could be many factors that you got to consider. We'll talk about those, but
flow reaches the lift station, wastewater collects in an underground tank.
So this is the station where the remains were found, and then as the video explains, you have a sewer line that runs from residential areas, uses gravity to take all those pipes, and then leads to one location to where they can't really use gravity anymore, and so they build a substation, lift station, and then that, of course, then fills up into this well, and then from there they have secondary pipes that suck that water out, the sewage water out, and then put it back up above gravity, but above the other lines, so then gravity can start doing its thing again. And then it's just kind of a rinse and repeat type of thing. But these are typically monitored. If there's anything that's in here, like as far as water levels are being tested constantly. There's machinery that are testing water levels and everything. But the body was found in the well here. So it begs the question, how did the body get in there? Right now, the two main ways that we know of right now would be, as you can see on the top here, there are these metal grates that could be lifted open. I don't know if they have a lock on them or not. Keep in mind, it is fenced off, so it is, at least the building itself is kind of in the area itself is surrounded with a fence with barbed wire and usually is locked and keyed. So the question would be, did somebody break in, dump the body down just through the wheel well here, which is completely possible, or did the body end up through the sewer line here and then ended up in the well? So now we go back to the diagram, the blueprints. Like I said, I was able to figure out a lot more, kind of understand how to work the website. It gives you tons of details. It tells you when things are edited, which is pretty neat. Like I said, I can click on this and it'll tell me, if it's operating status, when somebody has edited something. As you can see, somebody edited something April 20th of this year. This particular pipe that I clicked on is 15 inches in diameter. It tells you the kind of type of pipe material it's made out of. There's clay, there's I think it's asbestos or something like that. Not something different. Maybe PVC or whatever. But anyway, back to the video. But as we can see, this pipe here, from if the body had ended up in where that lady was standing near that manhole, this pipe is 15 inches, as we can see here. And these are 15-inch diameter pipes. Now, it helped to have like a person stand next to one, but here is somebody getting stuck in I believe this is a 15-inch diameter pipe. So if anybody's wondering, could a body go through? Now, I know it says trigger warning. Trust me, there's nothing graphic in this. This is a person being rescued. He's completely fine. I'm sure he's shook up. And as you can see, yes, it is possible. So then the big question is how can I figure out which way is this going? Which is downstream, which is upstream. And so that's what I was also able to figure out. And to no surprise, it is going west. So as we look at the diagram and we don't know for sure if the body fell in through the manhole or was dumped in the well, but the pipe itself and the sewage does flow west, which is right to left. As a matter of fact, this actually has multiple lines that go in it, and you can actually tell where it feeds out, which is kind of interesting. But another big giveaway that this was, what direction this would be, is if we zoom out, we can see we can see that this line leads to this residential area and this one. But notice there's nothing coming from these. So these would most likely be above ground, higher, and these all are kind of the starting point, and then feed down into this, and then this lifts it back up and then continues feeding on. So from using this diagram, and then there's also another way to tell, but I'll show you guys that in just a minute. But so by looking at all that, safe to say I'm pretty sure that is all heading downstream towards the lift station as the arrows are pointed. And then there's actually multiple lines. As you can see, there's actually multiple lines coming in. And actually what it is there's actually another line that comes in. And then it circles around this little triangle and then pumps out. And then same with this line here. And this is all downstream. So this is where it pumps it kind of back up above towards, so where gravity can start doing its thing. So that is something that I was able to find out as well. So now the question is, again, we don't know if this is Caleb or not, but still I think this is, very interesting. We know it was foggy that night, but Caleb was last seen very close nearby. We could have one scenario where maybe it was super foggy and perhaps Caleb was just kind of wandering around, checking out the fog, and fell in the manhole. But perhaps because he's kind of not a big kid, but perhaps his size, maybe he was down there for a while. Unfortunately, maybe got knocked out or who knows, drowned. And maybe was in that system for a while. And then eventually, as the body would start to kind of decompose, the body would become more pliable and then eventually make its way to the well station, the lift station or whatever. Because if the body was there the entire time, they should have known a long time ago, because it should have alerted to them that there's something wrong with the water levels and there's something blocking. So the other question would be, did somebody pick him up? Nefarious activities happened, and then they dumped him down in this manhole and then left the manhole cover open. That's another scenario. Let me know what you think in chat. Just playing kind of devil's advocate. And then also we have the phone last ping. And that was literally directly west. And what's kind of interesting is they mentioned the pain management area. Which if we go directly west, we follow this little line in the street. They said the ping was over here, and it's a perfect line. So could it be that the phone also went in there, but was able to travel freely because, it's not as big, it's just a tiny little device. And that would probably compromise the components, causing the phone to be destroyed. And then it continued on, and maybe that's why they got the ping over there, but the body took longer to get to the well station because maybe many different factors. So let me know what you think in chat. There's a couple more things that I did discover, but I think it's no coincidence that here we have this open manhole that this lady discovered, and then I've looked and looked, and that, from what I understand, that is a sewer line, and that line definitely runs towards the way that towards the well station there, lift station. Let me see what you guys say in chat here. Southern Gal, True Crime, good to see you. Just wanted to say hi, Replay Crew. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate the support, membership. Helps this channel out so much. Allison says, I've been in that area searching for Caleb. I don't see him following in that, in my opinion. I just want to say, Allison, I appreciate, as one who helps search for missing, I do appreciate anybody that goes out and search for the missing. And I respect what you have to say. Yeah, I mean, we still don't know. We don't even know if it's Caleb or not. I mean, I would think it. I mean, I think more the time goes on, I think that more leans towards it's him. But again, we still have to, gonna have to wait a few weeks. Yeah, I keep hearing about a phone being found, but I haven't seen anything like official. But if you would want to email me with anything that can lead me in the direction, Yeah, I don't know if the phone was actually found. For right now, I'm just gonna say I don't know because I have not seen that myself. June 6th. What found on Packery Jetty. Now I don't want to discount you, Joelle. Just writing the information down. I would assume that if they did find something, maybe they would hold that and not release that to the public, but maybe some of the locals know. So, again, I don't know, and I can't say 100% that they found the phone, but it's certainly possible. I'll look into it. Tom says, I wonder if they check on the pump because of the blockage. Yeah, from what I understand, that is probably what happened. Is with the body going in there, because it's always monitoring the levels in the well, that I'm assuming that body and the remains caused some kind of fluctuation, anomaly. How big is Caleb? I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, with the wingspan and everything, I don't know. But again, for anybody that thinks like the stormwater, I know they mentioned that the storm and everything may have helped find the body, but from what they say, the stormwater and sewer, those are two separate entities. And I know that there's some drainage ditch that run parallel to that area. You can actually see the ditch run right over this. And it almost looks like there's like little tunnels that lead in there. But from what I understand, they're separated because you've got sewer water and storm water. And they try to keep those separate. Another thing that I was able to tell that this was definitely downstream is you can click on downstream, and as you notice, it's kind of hard to see, but this lights up. You can see it says downstream, and then the others are grayed out. So if I kind of back out, you can see where it's brown. This is the downstream. So again, like I showed in the other diagram, I think what you got is you got a line that feeds in here, you have a line that feeds in here, and then you have one. So I think there's some from this neighborhood here that feed and then circle back into this and then gets led back out. But again, there's only two ways the body is getting in there. Either it's getting in there dropped off through this grate here, which you're going to have to get around this fencing and have a key and drop the body down in there, which is through, and I'm going to show you if I got it here. So here's just a small clip. So here they have the well open here, and the body is literally found. This is actually footage, but it actually shows the body in the full video. But of course, I'm not going to show that. But this is just like in the diagram where you've got like two of them, and it's like got a metal grate. So I mean, there's only two ways the body's getting in there. Either it's being dropped down from the well, from the grate here, or it flowed into it. So, so let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I kind of lean towards the body. going through the pipe system. Be honest, I'm leaning more towards that now. Just the fact that everything lines up right there. But just because it would be, if it was foul play and you had a body, I mean, are you going to try to break into an area like this? With the fence and barbed wire, and you're going to drop it down through the grate, which may even have a padlock key to open that part up. I don't know. But to break into this little area here, and then if you were a city worker and it was that did this, I think that would be the dumbest thing, because you'd probably have to know that once you drop that body down there, they're going to end up knowing days later or a day later, because it would obviously cause the sensors to go off and cause somebody to be called out to check on what the hell is going on. So, not saying it's not possible, but to me, that's the only two possibilities, right? I mean, unless there's another way the body could get in there, but there's no storm drain that runs into that. There's only the sewer main and the well that this body is going in there. James, you can't put links in chat. That's just YouTube policy. I'm sorry. If you want to email me, I'm not sure what you want to email me. I've got a lot of people in chat, so I'm looking now. Tom says, new debit card, laugh out loud. Oh, I appreciate it, Tom. And I appreciate you being a member for 24 months or over 24 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So one other thing I just want to say, just to add to it being, like I said, I still think this could be very nefarious activity, one way or another, but another thing that makes it kind of interesting that this could have been the body could have went down the sewer line and then eventually made it through is you have another case. I'm going to play it right here.
Dewitt was a musician, an artist, and a graduate of the University of Oregon. Ben Brubaker lived with Dewitt for 4 months before he disappeared back in February. Brubaker reported Dewitt missing and said he was distressed and in need of help. Brubaker says he had a bad feeling when he heard the news last week about a body being discovered in a sewage facility near a park Dewitt often went to.
You know, the fact that it was in that park made me very afraid that it might be him, so I called the detectives immediately and was just trying to talk to him because I just had a sinking feeling that that might be our friend.
Meanwhile, hundreds of friends and family have been posting on Dewitt's Facebook page, remembering the good times. Brubaker says there were claims over the last few months that people had seen Dewitt out and about around town, but no sightings were ever confirmed. Of course, you can...
Okay, so what's crazy, now this one I believe was in Oregon, but this is what's really weird. Okay, not to mention that he left his shoes behind, so he's walking around. Apparently this guy just left his house without his shoes, but his friend said he was like in distress, maybe his mental health issues, who knows. But the weird thing is that when he went missing, they found his body eventually, but it took 15, they found it the remains in the same exact kind of type thing in a well station, lift station. And it was 15 weeks since he had been missing. And it was basically 16 weeks if this is Caleb's body that was found in the well station. So could that mean maybe that's how long, like, the body has to maybe start to decompose to a certain point before it can actually start to flow through the line. But just to point that out, I thought that was kind of interesting that you have two similar cases if it is Caleb, and one's found 15 weeks later, and the other one's found basically around the same amount of time. Really odd. Really odd. Okay, what Packery Channel jetty. So they're saying Packery Channel. Phone found in Padre Island on Packery Channel. Okay, let's look at that. Let me turn this down real quick. So there's a phone found Packery Channel. I don't know. Again, until there's an official report, I don't want to tell my viewers that that's his phone until there's actually something that's official saying that's his phone. Not to say that that couldn't be his phone. That is much further away. But that would be interesting if it was. Definitely complete opposite direction from the last ping. Again, I for right now, I would just tell the viewers, you got to take it with a grain of salt until it's verified. But it could be his. Why would a storm alert them to the blockage? No, I think they just mentioned in the news clip that they believed that all the storm water may have pushed this body. Again, I don't know all the minutia details of how, what stormwater does. I mean, I don't know if it flows into the sewer system. I mean, from just like the precipitation itself, that kind of adds to maybe help pushing sewage water. I don't know if that plays a part at all. Now, I don't think the height would be an issue. I think it would be more a case of how big he is. But again, it's a 15-inch pipe. And I did show you guys that it is possible for a human being to travel through one, because we showed that report earlier. And this is what a 15-inch pipe. Oops. Trying to find where I had the. So those are 15-inch pipes right there. I mean, it's tough to have a reference. It'd be easier if somebody was standing next to him to see. But I could definitely see it's possible that somebody could go through that. Deborah says, wouldn't a family member be asked to identify or rule out the remains, even by discrete photos or clothing, hair, etc.? I think they'd want to know ASAP so they could keep searching or make arrangements. That's such a great question, Deborah. Have they really had any? They haven't really been out publicly since they found the remains. Yeah. I can't imagine what the family's going through, but I would think probably if it is Caleb's, they'll probably be notified as soon as possible, but I don't know if the public will be until they have the actual autopsy report done. Yeah, it's easy to fall down a manhole. But yeah, we know manholes definitely. I mean, we can see her walking by that manhole. I mean, that's clear. Yeah, there's the cone right there.
I discovered this well. So there's the cottages. I discovered this well.
It'd just be interesting to know if anyone ever noticed if they were for sure that walked over this in the early days of searching for Caleb, if like cleared that area and know for sure if these lids were all on at that time, or did they miss them by chance? That'd be a big question to learn.
He's stuck in the sewer. Maybe he fell in that one, and he shimmied his way through the tunnel or something down to this one.
Dental ID only takes a matter of hours, right?
Maybe he hit his head falling down.
Yeah.
And he's stuck in there. Right, maybe he fell. That's why he couldn't cry for help. I mean, they obviously.
The manhole's sewer water smell would be unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, you could see the dog. He's going nuts.
Very well could be
I don't know.
Barefoot walking distance. I mean, he was barefoot, right? So maybe he saw.
I mean, because obviously manholes have little holes in them, like, so. I think they're deep enough that.
And then I discovered these.
I don't know. I don't think it would be that smelly, to be honest.
The ground is relatively soft.
But anyway, that's what I've uncovered. I think there's definitely enough there to.
There's a lot of Flintstones here in Corpus Christi.
There's a possibility that
Are you from New Brownsville?
that body fell down or was placed down there and ended up at that well station. And maybe it just took time for it to travel there. But it definitely connects. So, John Doe says the field was bare then. Right. So she's there on April.
Huh?
Right, because it would have been because he went missing March 4th. So I mean, I'm not a farmer. I mean, that looks like the crops are just barely starting to
Flintstones here in Corpus Christi.
come up right there.
Are you from New Brownsville?
I mean, you can kind of see the crops right there.
Saw the anomaly that I saw.
Look like they're just barely starting to come up. But yeah, this area, I mean, when you go on Google Earth, it's clearly noticeable. Like, I mean, so here's where it's empty. You can tell this is where it's at. Like, you can see that rebar that's sticking out. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but it looks like there's at least 2 pieces of rebar that are sticking out. Probably, kind of letting you know that those manholes are sitting there. Probably also let the farmer know not to run the tractor or whatever over that part. That's probably why that area is left like that, and that's probably why it looks like that on from a top-down view here. Clearly, this area doesn't get touched. So yeah. Anything else? Oh yeah, April is saying maybe he wanted to. I mean, you'd just think he would just go in the bushes to take a piss. I mean, I don't think you would really have to find a manhole to take a piss, but keep in mind, it was super foggy that night. This is just one of many scenarios that could have happened, but sorry, I'm trying to find. This is really the only other video taken from that night. But it's super foggy that night. So maybe he was out there with his phone, Snapchatting, fell in.
I don't know what the hell they did, bro, but they did something. I don't know what the hell they did.
But anyway, I guess now it's just waiting for the medical examiner's report to come out, so we can learn more about the remains itself. And is it going to be foul play, or Right now, they said there was no obvious signs of foul play, but that doesn't mean anything. Tom says, curious as to why Caleb would walk out into the field. Again, yeah, I mean, yeah. Maybe Uber driver was lost and he was assisting. By that time, I don't think the Uber driver was headed his way. I think the Uber driver was still picking up his order by that time. So he ordered Uber Eats at... Sorry, guys. 2:45. Oh, here we go. There's a reason why I did this. So he ordered Uber Eats at 2:45. Now, whatever happened to him happened before 2:58. And I don't think Uber Eats got there until like 3:30 or something like that. So I don't think he was helping them get there at that point. I think they were still looking or still driving to get his order. So whatever happened to him, the Uber Eats person was obviously still probably looking. It probably just left. But yeah, whatever happened within less than 13 minutes from when he ordered Uber Eats. So really wild. Maddie's mom, this story is so heartbreaking. I totally agree. Okay, I'm going to check the phone email stuff. I'm kind of curious about this, so give me 1 second. I'm really curious about this. Oh, I have to be part of the group. I'll have to look into that. Let's see. Let's see. Can I take the... let me look at the phone. All I could say is... So we don't know if it's his phone. Somebody found a phone. It's cracked. It is an Apple phone. Here, let me take a picture of it. But considering how many people have iPhones, I don't think it would be... Not to say it's not his phone, but... it still could have been anybody's phone that... So yeah, there's that. So that is interesting. They did find a phone, but again, law enforcement hasn't came out and said, hey, his phone was found. Not to say that's not his phone, but it still could be somebody else's as well. So, but that is interesting. That is in a different area, and we'll have to kind of see how everything fits together, because that's in the opposite direction of where his phone last pinged. So, we'll have to wait and see with that. Ramona says, thank you, Chris, for all you do for the missing. I appreciate it. I try to look at everything. We try to stick with the facts. I do appreciate the phone stuff. I will look into it more. But you have to look at it both ways. It could be just somebody's... Apple phones are very... obviously, a lot of people have Apple phones. Somebody else could have left their phone behind, and that could have been somebody else's. Then again, it could be his. I would think if there was foul play, you would think the person would have destroyed it, and it would have been the garbage or somewhere where you'd probably never find it. But again, criminals are not the smartest, so. With that, I think just so one last thing, we are going to be going out. We're going to try to be going out for Aidan Clune sometime this week. For those that are not familiar with this case, you could go check out his case. I've got tons of videos on it. Again, we just recently found his shoes, the first physical evidence in 2 years since he went missing. We really believe in a couple more trips, could be the next one, we could bring him home. So, unfortunately, going out and searching for the missing is very expensive. It costs over $100 a day just to go out and search for him. But not only that, when I'm out searching, I'm not at home working. So not only am I spending money, but I'm not making money, if that makes sense. So it's kind of a double whammy. And then when we found his shoes, we were really, we really thought, we would probably find him very close by near his shoes. Which it still could be the case. It's just such a huge area that, we can only cover so much ground with so few of us. But we really think everything we've done in this case, we could finalize it very soon. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody, donations, Venmo, just being here, like and subscribe, helps this channel out, helps what we do on this channel. So with that, I think I'm going to end it. Just looking at chat, just making sure if there's anything else. Oh, my tooth's feeling much better. Yeah, much better. I can actually think. So, yeah, yeah. Again, prayers for the Caleb Harris family. I'm sure that's a tough time. Nadia says the phone was found is in the police hands of the police. That's great. Like I said, it could be possible. It could be his. But I'd prefer to wait for an official statement before we officially say that's his phone. So, with that, thank you to my wonderful mods for the support. It kind of depends. I might be going out Wednesday to search for him. Might be Thursday. I know it's going to be this week, so there may be a live Wednesday, but I'll probably do a members live just before we go out. So, so if we're not live Wednesday, then probably Friday. And then I might do just a short video of what I talked about today. Just uploaded maybe tomorrow. So, but with that, I'm going to head out. I love you guys. I hope you guys, those in America, celebrate it. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Be safe. And we will see you guys very soon.